Welcome to another edition of Coffee with Carriers. I'm your host, Adam Mathis, President of Amwins Benefits, our small to middle market practice, where we help brokers and consultants navigate the health insurance landscape to find solutions and products for their employer group clients. I'm excited to be here with some excellent partners from UnitedHealthcare. Bryan Palmer, CEO of the UnitedHealthcare Florida, and Shannon Carmona, VP of Small Business Sales. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So before we jump right into it, I know our guests would love to hear a little bit more about you and your background. Bryan, let's start with you.
Yeah, hi, Bryan Palmer. I'm the CEO for UHC for our Florida health plan. Been with United for 24 years. I've had, been in the Florida market for about 20.
What do you like to do in your free time?
I enjoy golfing, barbecuing, although I'm not that great at it, and I would say just spending time with friends and family.
We're cut from the same cloth on that. I love a little golf and barbecue myself, and there's nothing better than spending some time with friends and family. What gets you excited about the industry?
I just think the opportunity, being with United for 24 years, I can tell you I'm very passionate about the mission that helping people live healthier lives and helping the healthcare system work better for everyone, especially in the times we're in today. Mm-hmm. I feel like we really are part of the solution. And I feel like every day that myself and our teams get up to try to make a difference, to make the healthcare system better, that's what drives me.
That's great. Well, Bryan, thanks for being here.
Thank you.
Shannon?
Shannon Carmona, Florida Vice President of Sales for 2 to 100. I also oversee our Florida General Agent distribution channels, like our partnership with Amwins. Excited to be here today. Been with United for 9 years.
Nice.
All in Florida.
Shannon, what do you like to do in your free time?
Oh goodness, I like to play pickleball, I like to ski, I love to travel, spend time with friends and family as well.
Oh, that's great, and thank you guys again. Thank you for the introduction, and let's jump right into it. So, Bryan, could you help us maybe set the stage a little bit? Tell us a little bit about what's going on here in the Florida market from United's perspective.
Florida's a really big market for us. It's probably the fourth largest market that we have across the country, expanding really in all segments of business as we think about our individual Medicare, Medicaid, but then also on our commercial lines where 2 to 50, our mid-market 51 to 99, and then into key accounts. It's definitely a growing market. We're seeing a lot of, kind of change across the landscape. If you look at the competitive landscape, through the consolidation, a lot of different competitors than we're seeing as third-party competitors come into the market. It's a market of opportunity.
Yeah, we couldn't agree more. I mean, one of the largest small business states in the country, continuing to grow from a population perspective. Still lots of brokers and consultants out here serving that important segment of the market. We see it as a tremendous opportunity as well, and grateful for the partnership with you all down here in this market. So obviously, Bryan, you kind of touched on this a little bit, which is a nice transition over for Shannon to talk a little bit about the neighborhood health plan. UnitedHealthcare has a lot of different things that you guys do. We've talked about the Surest product in the past. You're in the ACA, fully insured group space. You're in individual Medicare. You do a lot in the self-funded space, obviously big in level funding. Tell us a little bit about the background of neighborhood healthcare. And I know we'll probably use the acronym NHP a bit over this next session, but tell us a little bit about the background of this solution.
Happy to. In 2005, UnitedHealthcare made the decision to purchase NHP, and NHP really had its start here in the South Florida market.
Okay.
So it started out in Miami and in Broward County, which we're sitting in today. Back in 2005, when United made that decision, it really took United made the acquisition of NHP an opportunity for growth.
Okay.
And a really explosive growth throughout the South Florida markets. And then years later down the road, probably about 5 or so years ago, UHC decided to make this decision to move it statewide. And what that really provided was an opportunity for employers to be able to offer an affordable solution. Because the difference between a UnitedHealthcare plan and an NHP plan is approximately 15%.
Okay.
So it gave employers and brokers like Amwins and general agents the opportunity to be able to show a value-based product with a very reputable brand name with UHC backing it and a very large network of physicians and facilities and hospitals.
That's great. That's great. So you touched a little bit on the cost advantage. How is it able to achieve that cost savings?
One of the key factors in choosing an NHP plan is you need to choose a primary care physician.
Okay.
And that doesn't necessarily prohibit you from going to a specialist or going within the NHP network. But what it really does is it's meant to help drive and facilitate some of the care that members need. Because oftentimes, members need kind of that coordination.
Sure.
They need the guidance of where to go to, who to see next. But through our NHP open access plans, you have the ability to either go to your PCP or go to a specialist. So that's one of the biggest drivers on how we can maintain that kind of spread between an NHP and a UHC plan.
When you think about that, Bryan, obviously UnitedHealthcare is a national organization. Florida is obviously a key important market. You've got this great solution to help drive some of the cost savings down here. But obviously there's plenty of Florida employers that have employees outside of the Florida marketplace. How does NHP work in that dynamic?
Yeah, that's a great question. And I think when we acquired NHP back in 2005, very quickly, the benefits of NHP, where initially we started right away where we could offer a dual option, but it was two different systems. So we did that very early, but through integration now is, whether it's on the fully insured side, an employer could offer, a UHC fully insured plan that provides access to our, national network across the country, 50 states, but then also, whether it's an HSA, or moving forward to offering an NHP option. So it really gives more choice to the employers and the employees. It's really a family or individual, right? It's personal healthcare,
Sure.
But just more choice, as well as the affordable options with NHP getting the 15% decrement off of UHC.
Yeah, I think you guys hit the nail on the head. Obviously, we've talked a lot about cost and pricing just in our industry in general, and if you can see and utilize a product that's allowing that, but then packaging that with the power and the diversification that UnitedHealthcare brings, it sounds like a really great solution. So thank you for that context.
And I would just add real quick too, and I think the experience that we've been through the platform migration that we've had where we're on one system is that really the experience is similar. As we look at the support and tools that are provided, whether it's My UHC,
Sure.
or our UHC app,
Sure.
right, or our Advocate for Me program, for our advocacies, it's all wrapped together, whether it's UHC or NHP. So you get that simple experience.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah, I think that experience, that streamlined experience that the employer and the employees are looking for is necessary in our market today. And so now that you guys have figured that out, I think that's it's a win-win across the board.
Right, and I think just one more point to add, when someone is selecting an NHP plan, they're not getting a subpar plan.
Right.
They're still getting, to Bryan's point, they're getting all the applications, they're getting all the same value adds, and they're getting the strength of a very good network behind
That's right.
it.
You're not just skinnying it down just to save the cost. You're providing a robust
Correct.
offering that has this cost savings because of the primary care doctor selection, but then wrapping it and continuing to partner with the UnitedHealthcare solutions in totality makes it
That's right.
unique in the marketplace.
Yeah, and I think in South Florida, if you look at just the comparison between our UHC network to NHP, I think you meant it's roughly 99%. So you're not really giving up anything.
You're not giving up anything.
No.
Yeah, it's great. So we talked about getting it started in South Florida. We talked about now that it's statewide. We talked a little bit about the added advantage of when those employees might be traveling outside of the state. And how UnitedHealthcare solves for that. When you think about where you're targeting this offering in this Florida marketplace, are there specific geographies that you're targeting, or are there specific industries that you're targeting that you feel are a good fit for this solution?
The beauty of it is because, as I mentioned, we went statewide about 5 or so years ago. It's a statewide program. So one of the things that does make NHP different is you do need to reside in the state of Florida. We do have a specific product called NHP Flex, which
Okay.
allows for those members that may travel or have students that go outside of Florida, because we do neighbor Georgia and Alabama, and a lot of people
Sure.
from Florida like to go to these state schools. That type of product will allow for that that ability to go outside, but to answer your question specifically, a geography, it's statewide.
Okay.
There are little pockets within Orlando because Orlando is a 2-hospital system.
Sure.
There's one of the most major hospital systems, Advent, that does participate in the NHP program.
Okay.
But otherwise, you've got access to all of the same hospitals and a good amount of the same primary and specialty doctors that you would with UHC.
And I think too, if you look at the different segments of business, probably 2 to 50 are small business, probably 30% of our sales are tied to NHP. Mm-hmm. In the 51 to 99 market, roughly 50%, and then probably 25+% in the key account space. But that's just you could see in the dual option, depending on how the groups, the makeup of the groups is just the membership, whether they choose NHP or UHC. So NHP has been a huge part of our new business as we think about, the combination between NHP and UHC together.
Yeah, and feedback from our sales team has been consistent with that. There's been a lot of interesting things that UHC has had in the marketplace. We've had a lot of positive feedback on Surest, and I know we've talked a lot about that. But also our sales team has been very keen on NHP and the advantage that it brings to the marketplace. And I think part of the challenge in the market is just continuing to educate. Anytime you show up and there's lots of options, it makes it more difficult for the broker and even more so for the employer to understand and navigate that. So when you think about broker distribution and how general agencies like Amwins can help with that, what are some of the things that you want brokers to understand and focus on as it relates to the NHP value proposition?
One of the things I think Amwins has done an excellent job in educating the broker community is showing that we have a full spectrum of products, NHP being one of those products, but we have various funding arrangements as well. So, and included in that is the introduction recently of NHP level funded in the 2 to 50 and 51 plus markets. So the thing that I would want the broker community to understand, which again Amwins has done a great job of, is the education of how you've got things like an NHP product which offer you value, but still the breadth of a great, strong, robust network. Mm-hmm. And then you can go into Surest, which offers you that transparency and a copay only type plan, which is more of an experience, to a UHC, which is that robust national network with a lot of variety of plan designs. Within all of that spectrum, you've got the different funding arrangements based on what the fit and the tolerance is going to be of the clients at that particular time in their model.
When I think about UnitedHealthcare and where you all fit into the marketplace, a couple things stand out. Obviously you talked a little bit about the individual in the Medicare space, but when you think about small groups specifically, you still are committed to the ACA landscape. You've got a tremendous level funded arrangement that you've rolled out. You now have started to think about other ways to control costs with tools like Surest or NHP, but you also can't forget about the specialty market and your commitment there in the ancillary space. And so when you look at that diversification is unique and just something that resonates well with our sales force as well as the broker community that we serve. So,
well, and I think we are the only carrier, at least in the state of Florida, and probably even nationally, that really offers, still to your point, ACA fully insured based products, level funded, ASO. Many are trying to get out and just consolidate to one kind of funding arrangement. We really believe that there's a place we can meet every employer and every member in the spectrum.
Shannon, you touched a little bit on level funding. Bryan, when you think about NHP level funding, what's been the results in the marketplace since launching that? Have you seen growth with that strategy? How has that resonated in the market?
Yeah, that's a great question. It launched January 1st of this year. It's early, but it was very successful. I think, the biggest opportunity for us is how UHC and NHP complement each other, where now, you can offer, honestly, unlimited plans on the level funded side, but where you can go in and offer a UHC plan, tie that to Surest, which is probably one of the biggest differentiators I've seen in my 30+ year career, that product offering, as well as with an NHP, level funded option. So I think there's tremendous upside and opportunity. We need to educate, just getting it out to the market. You had talked about that. I think education is super important, and we really do appreciate the collaboration that we have with Amwins. And I think, you're an extension of us. We have a broad portfolio. We have our fully insured, level-funded ASO. Now with NHP, you have our fully insured, level-funded ASO. So across all funding, we've covered that spectrum, right?
Sure.
So it's really those are the chassis in our products, as well as you mentioned specialty. Probably about 66% of our small business sales right now are level-funded. So you're seeing a shift where Florida's typically been a fully insured market, seeing it go more level-funded. So it's really nice to have that complement our entire portfolio.
Yeah, now you've got it across the entire portfolio, giving choice and options to the brokers to help them educate their employers and find the best solution, which is exactly what you mentioned earlier.
And Amwins has done a really good job of conducting webinars for your agents, getting out into the community, meeting with agents that may have had a singular focus in the past, and really kind of opening their eyes to a breadth of opportunities that will create opportunities for them to get in front of more and new clients.
And I appreciate that, Shannon. I think part of our responsibility is, we are an aggregator of information and data and solutions to ensure that the broker community and ultimately their employer groups understand what's available to them.
Right.
And that is a great segue. Talking about partnership, right? Obviously, UnitedHealthcare and Amwins, we work together in a lot of different markets. We recently launched in Florida almost a year ago in July, and kind of would love just any comments that you have on how this partnership has evolved. Has it met your expectations? Any insight you can provide to the audience?
Absolutely. Like I mentioned in my introduction, I oversee our Florida General Agent distribution, and it's almost going to be a year this July, which is coming up very quickly. And I've truly enjoyed the partnership because of the fact that there's a lot of collaboration. There's that curiosity, your team wanting to learn and understand the value of how to pitch and market and promote and educate, the broker community on all the diverse products and funding arrangements that we have, and NHP being one of those big ones because it's a great door opener. Going back to the partnership, I think it's key because of that drive to find opportunities together that we can help get out our products to as many brokers as we can, and try to find the solution for as many employer groups as we can.
That's great.
Across all segments.
Yeah, that's great. Thank you. We appreciate the partnership as well. And I think as a general agency, we pride ourselves on being a partner and collaborating across the market. We want to partner with you and your teams to help inform our broker partners around the options that are available to their clients. And so hearing you say that is obviously music to my ears, and greatly, greatly appreciate. And just want to reiterate how much we appreciate just the opportunity to collaborate and work together in this important market. So, we talked about partnership. We've talked about these great solutions that UnitedHealthcare brings to the table. One of the things that I would like to sort of close with is just kind of getting a little bit of what's next for NHP, specifically with UnitedHealthcare down in Florida. So, Bryan, we'll start with you, and then Shannon, we'll close it out with you.
Yeah, I think for NHP, I think for us since the launch with level funded, is that there's going to be continued education and push for us to bring awareness and education on our NHP level funded product. One thing that's going to be exciting for us is that today we're 5+ on our level funded. We're targeting 10-1 to go down to 2+. We feel like, especially in, for those smaller employers in the 2 to 4, right? There's an opportunity where today they don't have opportunities for level funded. So that's going to be 10-1. As I think about our level funded products in general, is that there's going to be a lot of enhancements for 1/1/27 around our ability to modify benefits on a case-by-case basis. So there's a lot of new modifications that are happening on the level funded side for UHC and NHP that will go live 1/1. So we're excited about that. We have some new products that we're going to be rolling out for some new fully insured offerings that we're going to come out for 1/1 that we think that we've maybe missed a little bit in the market, that we think that's going to be a great opportunity. Between our level funded NHP offering, our current UHC offerings, Surest is a big part of our portfolio. There still needs to be a lot of education because, again, that is a really unique type of benefit. I see that kind of as our priorities as we're looking into head into 27.
Just a few things to do, right?
Yeah.
That's great. So Shannon, closing it out with you. Obviously, we have a captive broker audience here, and If there's a couple things that you would like to sort of leave them with as it relates to NHP, maybe they're on the fence, maybe they've never shown it to a client, what would be a few things that you would share with them on why they might want to present this as an option to their clients?
Well, hopefully we've conveyed that through this discussion, but
Yes.
I think the key thing is going to be, NHP has the brand of UnitedHealthcare behind it. It's got the strength of a large, Florida-based network. It's got stability. It's got all the same programs that you get to use, that a UHC member is going to get to use, like Bryan mentioned, the My UHC app, the Advocate for Me, all the wellness programs like our UHC Rewards, and various other programs that we offer. It's been a product that's been in the market for some time now and has shown strength through not only growth, but through the member experience, as Bryan mentioned. It's a wonderful member experience, and when people actually participate in an NHP plan, along with all the other products that we have, they feel like it's something that is truly going to hold up to what they're purchasing.
And I like where you went to it, and I think it is. It's consistency and commitment to our products. I think to the different segments of business. It's still a relationship business, and I think hopefully you feel the same way, is that, the extension, the partnership that we have with Amwins, we listen. It's relationship, we're relationship focused with our brokers. We are a large organization, but healthcare is local, and it's always viewed that we're just a big national, carrier, where, I think our brand is very strong here locally. Our team and our commitment to the market, the employers, our general agents, but also, our brokers, where we're committed to listening, where if we have opportunities, we listen and we try to make those, those enhancements. We value the business that our producers, brokers bring to us, as well as the relationship we have with Amwins, and you've performed really well, and we really appreciate that.
We do as well, and I think that was incredibly well said, Bryan. And when you think about the commitment to this marketplace, the diversification of your product portfolio, the various funding mechanisms, it speaks clearly. It's not just the words that you all say, it's the action that you take in the marketplace that resonates. And so we appreciate the partnership. We appreciate you being here and taking time to sort of help inform our broker partners around some of the things that you guys are working on. I know I was very excited to learn more about NHP, and hopefully our audience was as well. I know our sales team will continue to be out there sharing the information about this product, helping brokers and ultimately their clients understand all the unique advantages to some of the products and tools that you put out in the marketplace. So thank you again.
Thank you.
That brings us to the conclusion of another episode of Coffee with Carriers. I want to thank you all for joining in. I want to thank my guests, Bryan and Shannon, for all the information that they shared around UnitedHealthcare here in Florida. Thank you again, and I hope you all have a great day. Until next time.